This is an SM Media production.
Hi folks, welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Pro Wrestling Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's always a pleasure to be your host, and I'm delighted as always to be joined by my co-host Scott Young.
I know. Looking forward to this one. Yeah, happy to be here.
The title of this show is The Presser That Rocked the World. And it did. And it was kind of what we thought. I was going in with the kind of worry of what are they going to do here? What are we going to see? Is it going to be Rock Roman? Is this going to be the build? Because it was kind of built as that. It was like Rock and Roman are going face to face. And it turned out to be anything but that.
It was more of a Raw segment than a presser.
It was good, wasn't
It's a strange one. I kind of felt I got the good stuff. Then I think there's a couple of negatives we go into. The Rock's not lost a beat, has he?
No.
He's just every time he comes back, he had that promo with Theory and Pat. It was great. The Roman gender is maybe a bit border racist undertones to it, but it was still well delivered because he's the Rock, and that you just know his heel serious Rock. It's just obviously I didn't grow up with the Rock, so this is my first sort of seeing Hollywood heel Rock in person, like
Yeah.
live.
I got the tail
And
end of it. I
aye,
remember Rock Hogan at WrestleMania 18 very, very vividly. But I remember more WrestleMania 20 when I think he partnered with Foley against Evolution. And it was that was his kind of last match for what, 9, 10 years.
aye.
And that was Hollywood Rock, but still being the babyface. But
Yeah,
this
saying I've heard people like who watch wrestling know more about wrestling than me say there's with Hollywood Rock there's no difference between face and heel when it comes to Rock. He does the same stuff.
yeah.
Just some of it gets cheered or booed. But I think this is different because there was a
Mhm.
lot more like slapping Cody, for example,
I didn't see that
slapping the
coming.
no neither did I. Well, I kind of get told because when I was searching it, obviously I watched it the next morning. I
Mhm.
searched it, and it was the title of the clip. The Rock slaps Cody Ells, and I'm like, cheers YouTube. But no, I didn't think it turned violent.
No, I didn't
But
think it would
yeah,
turn violent.
it was a case of
When Seth came out, I
uh,
didn't get, like when Roman and Rock came out, I didn't get it what they were doing. By the end, though, I was sold, and
aye,
that's what I keep saying to you. It was like Royal Rumble, I wanted Punk to win, and you get to Cody somewhere else, and then when Cody won the Rumble, he's looking up at the skybox at Roman, and I thought, right, I'm sold on this. This is the right call. Raw, it comes out what a week later and says, "I'm giving up my chance." Basically says, "I'm giving up my chance so the Rock can fight Roman." And I thought, right, I'm bummed again. And now the journey, it clearly wasn't the journey at the start. This isn't the plan. This hasn't been the plan at the start, but it's working.
yeah. I not gonna lie, I hate when folks say, "Oh, it wasn't the plan." I don't care if it wasn't the
Nah,
plan. I
I'd
don't
love
care
to
what
know
the
what the
plan is.
plan was. I'd love to know what it was though.
The plan, I think the plan was Roman Rock, Cody Seth. That's what I think the plan. Obviously, after the Punk injury,
Yeah,
I think before Punk got injured, the plan was Punk was what we all thought it was: Punk, Seth, Roman, Cody.
yeah.
And then Punk got injured. Thought, crap, we need Star. Get Dwayne in the phone. So they phoned Dwayne, and he said, "Dwayne, you're fighting Roman. Cody, you're fighting Seth." And then the fans went, "Nah, they want that." They've made it very clear they didn't want
They
that.
didn't want that, and
No, hashtag we want Cody trended for about a week.
it's something that I didn't even think about until I can't remember who brought it up. I think it might have been Meltzer right after the press conference because I kind of stayed up. I was kind of quite high watching it. I couldn't sleep. But the Rock, the Rock Roman was going. If it was going to be a singles match, it was probably going to be the main event. So it was going to probably be quite long. I don't think the
Aye.
Rock can work a long match.
No,
So
I think we said that in the pod. Like, if
yeah,
it's Roman Rock, it's going half hour plus.
and I
I
don't
don't want to
think
see half hour of the Rock wrestling.
no. And
Especially safe Rock.
this is the perfect way to do it. You might get Roman long term, and you might, because the way they kind of brought back Goldberg, I think is very similar, because they brought him back and everybody was excited to see him and Brock again. And they did it, what was it, 92 seconds, and then it was 5 minutes at WrestleMania.
Aye.
And that was the way to use Goldberg. The only horrendous match Goldberg had was a 10-minute match with Undertaker, which was horrendous. So
But the thing with Goldberg was, even prime Goldberg, you wouldn't get a 10-minute
yeah,
match with him.
yeah.
Even prime WCW Goldberg, it was all squash match. A lot of it squash matches, really. I still think his match with Brock is the 33 one. That's a phenomenal match.
Yeah, it's really good.
You know, in 2K, when you and your mate would play and everyone just put finishers at Infinite, I was like, that was great.
Yeah.
If
I'm where right, so tag, it's clearly, so I think it must be a tag match now. They're not building it as Seth's going to be Cody's Shield, Roman and Rock are going to be together on Friday night in SmackDown, Cody and Seth are going to be the Grayson Waller effect at Elimination Chamber. It's clearly building to a tag match, and to be honest, I think Roman and Rock win.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this over text. It's like the only person I can see taking a pin in that is Seth.
Yeah.
Because they're all. If it was, well, if I was booking it and I could do whatever I wanted, either Rock take the pin.
Right, okay.
But the Rock's no taking the pin.
Nah.
He's no coming back. He's no on the board. He's no coming back. He was supposed to fight Roman. He's gone from fighting Roman and pushing to win, apparently, to take the pin in a tag.
Yeah.
Can I see that happening?
And you can obviously build something with Seth that he's going to have I imagine both World Championship matches will be in the same night. I would imagine that's what they're going to do. So you're going to have Seth working 2 matches. He's probably, I would lean towards it now, it's going to be him and Drew at WrestleMania.
Maybe Sammy.
Might
maybe
be Sammy. Might be Sammy.
But
you've got an excuse, like if he takes the pin, and then you could even, I don't think this match should have anybody interfere. I think it should be keep as fairly clean as possible, because it's building towards something the night after. I think long term we're getting Rock raising Cody's hand at the end of Mania. That's how it's going to go down.
you think?
Yeah, because
I think coming out, I think we're more likely to get a Roman face than a Rock face at the end of this.
I don't think Roman face
Because
works.
I want to see heel Rock versus face Roman at
Do you?
SummerSlam or
Do
something. Yeah.
you think that would work?
I just think I'd be interested in what face tribal chief looks like. Just from a pure, because we've had this, because that's the whole plan. The whole plan from the start of this was to turn Roman face.
Yeah.
Because ironically, that's what happened with The Rock. You had Rocky Maivia, then he didn't get over your Rocky Die stuff. He joined the Nation, and then he turned face and became the biggest face. And him and Austin became the biggest face in wrestling. So they probably looked at that template and thought, right, let's do that. Done it 3 years too late, but they're doing it with Roman.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and also I'm really excited for heel Rock, and I want to see it more. So that's what I want. And obviously Rock's on the board more, so he's probably going to be around more.
Yeah.
I know he's got a couple of films lined up. He's got Moana 2 coming out.
That's why I don't think he's going to do a long match. That's why that was my first thought and I don't think the main event of WrestleMania 40 should have been a 20-minute match between Roman Reigns, who we kind of, as much as the aura is, we know the matches he does, we know how it's going to go down, and Rock, who hasn't worked in 10 years, and I'm not even including the Eric Rowan squash that, remember that? The fight was at 4.5 seconds.
That was his last match.
That was his last match. But that,
32.
I just think we're getting that, the Cody era. I think Cody is now in a position to be the kind of next big face. The Austin era began with the Mike Tyson rub. He gave Austin the rub that night. Do you know what I mean? That was the mainstream. Rock's going to bring. We're going to get. This is the good thing with 2-night WrestleMania. You can do this now. Is there matches like the Io Sky Bailey match that are going to get? I'm very sold on Rhea and Becky now after the presser. But that you have to go. This is the story. This is night one has to be Roman Rock against Cody and Seth, and then night 2 you Roman Cody, and I think it's going to be. I'm keen. Seth takes the fall, I think, in night 1. Rock and Roman win. There's a wee bit of dissension kind of teased, as I think there will be between now and Mania. And then you get night 2, Cody wins. How they do it, I don't know. And Rock turns on Roman. Whether it's face or heel or not, or
I
Roman
kind
acknowledges
of
as Cody, I
aye.
don't know. I think we will get a face turn of some kind between Roman or Rock. And that builds into Saudi or SummerSlam or wherever they do it.
I kind of put this suggestion to you, but there's a kind of different turn to it. You have Roman Rock and let's say Solo coming out, maybe Jimmy as well if he's there. Although he's probably fighting Jay that. Anyway, you got Roman Rock Solo, sort of a Mexican standoff type thing. Then you get Cody and Seth, and you just mentioned name, Glass Shards.
Yeah, be good.
Austin come. This is during the match. Obviously, ref bumps. Roman main event's going to ref bump. Ref's down for about half an hour. Austin comes out, and then you have Austin raise Cody's hand at the end of it.
Yeah, you could do something.
I think you get. I think there's more story potential from keeping Rock heel than having him raise Cody's hand as a moment. That's what it'd be. Or you get Cena. Cena could come out as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cena's been squashed. You have Cena come out and raise Cody's hand as well.
Yeah,
I think there's better options than Rock doing it. If you I'd keep Rock heel.
and that's what I like about this, though. It's like they're from being in a position where we thought it was going, we were going to hate it, and I did. And see the Friday after, see when Rock came out in the SmackDown, I hated it, and from that to now, where we're talking about so many different ways to go, that's what we want. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm looking forward to about this. There's so many different avenues. I think Friday SmackDown is going to be interesting because it's going to be double taped, so they might do a couple of things, and then obviously we'll get Chamber next week, and we're just going to have. And I think it's a good thing that Rock and Roman aren't going to be in TV every week. Keep it the way it's. Do you know what I mean? Keep them for a couple of weeks at a time. You don't have you don't. It doesn't need to be every week. Just keep it the way it is.
Yeah, Cody puts dates on his Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, and the next SmackDown he's on is the one after Chamber.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know if I don't know. That might just be a dark match or whatever. But I think that should be the first face off between the four of them. I think you have Seth there. I'd have Seth there as well.
And they obviously had the trailer that they brought out as well, and
Aye.
that was cool. I like
that was a Super Bowl trailer. That screams
was
Nick
brilliant.
Khan.
Yeah, but if you're not invested in WWE and you're watching a trailer during the Super Bowl and you see there's The Rock,
Aye.
what's he there? Why is he there? I thought he was done with wrestling. Oh, let's find out. Oh, there's a lot of other things going on.
Aye.
Other points of the presser as well. I thought Becky and Rhea was brilliant. It fairly gives away who's winning the Chamber, but
Aye.
I
think we all
thought that
kind of
was
knew
I
anyway.
thought that was brilliant.
Yeah,
So
obviously I think they've done that. It's not Triple H. I think Triple H done brilliantly in keeping them two apart as much as possible.
yeah,
You had Becky with the NXT title for a bit. You had her with the Trish feud and the Nia stuff. But they have small backstage face-offs a lot of the time, but
yeah.
nothing concrete until now, which I'm a fan of because let's be honest, this was Vince. That match would have happened 3 times by now.
Yeah, and probably not at WrestleMania.
No, it's like even Rhea and Nia. Rhea and Nia having a match and Nia's came back a one-on-one.
And they're kind of doing it quite well. That they're. How do you make Rhea Ripley get cheered? And do you know what I mean? She's not going to get booed in Perth. Put her against the biggest heel going. Do you know what I mean? The heat magnet of WWE, and she's playing it really well. And I think again, I thought the Bianca stuff was like I felt that was just her promoting her reality show.
Aye.
I was hoping we might get Jade. There's talk.
I would have had Bailey.
Bailey should have been
Bailey
there.
won the Women's Rumble, wasn't it? The presser.
Yeah. All in all, though, the presser was brilliant. It was a brilliant bit of marketing. It was got us all excited. I am intrigued to see what they do more with that. In terms of Friday and SmackDown, what you wanting to see? What you're looking forward to? Are you wanting to see the face off, or is it too early for that?
Well, Cody's not advertised. And
Right.
if you're gonna
Okay.
have Cody, so I think it'll just be Rock and Roman cutting a promo on them. I would have I'd have small things like Roman tells Solo to do something, Solo doesn't do it, then Rock tells him to do something, and he does it instantly. Small things like that. And
Yeah.
then I don't know, do you put Triple H in it? He said, because it was Triple H that Heyman was speaking to last week, saying, "Oh, I'm bringing Rock and Roman next week," and Triple H said, "I'm looking forward to it." Don't know if Triple H would be involved this on Friday.
I
I think
think that
he'd
I think it'd be quite good if Triple H, because there's clearly a bit of dissension there, and they've built that quite well in the story. I saw Triple H coming out on Friday and basically saying, "This is my town, don't,"
aye,
and that was good. And so every bit, I'm excited about everything at the moment in WWE.
yeah.
Like
I
not
just
for a
had a
long
thought.
time, right?
What if Triple H is special guest ref the tag match?
Yeah, yeah.
No, just Triple H just likes to get himself involved in everything. Just stay out of this one.
And
I wouldn't.
that's why I think there's a lot of like we know like Shawn Michaels is very, very hopeful of kind of booking his old storylines in NXT. I think we're getting some of this with Triple H, you know,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like I think like he was obviously involved in the I think the ultimate WrestleMania 40 is going to be either Rock raising Cody as the winner, and that's the kind of new era, or Roman turns and Roman and Rock kind of embrace as WrestleMania 40 ends, and that's how you turn Roman. I'm just not sold that Roman. I think Roman face is probably a kind of moment's past. Like, cause see when he was doing the stuff with Seth, like get this bum out of here. That was brilliant.
yeah.
That was it. Just spoke to him like rubbish, and I loved it.
Completely buries the world heavyweight title, but
And
completely.
do you think Seth's the right guy to do
Yeah.
it? Janky is, yeah.
There's more. I think Seth in this tag match is perfect because he's got the history with Roman. Obviously, as we know, so he's going to be the Shield. Yeah, that makes sense. And you get the stuff with Cody, obviously the Hell in a Cell match. Apparently, they don't like each other backstage as well. Like Cody said in interviews. So yeah, you've got all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Seth is almost perfect for this kind of thing. I actually think, ironically, Punk probably would have been better.
Punk was good in the press conference as
Aye,
well, wasn't he? He was
I'm
good.
talking in the tag match. If Punk was fit, I would have Punk in the tag instead of Seth.
Yeah, yeah, I would. That would
Cody
probably
and Punk v Rock and Roman because
that would have
Punk's got
been
history.
that
Punk's
would
got
have been
history with
great.
Rock as well.
That would have
Aye.
been great. That would have been great. But
Punk talking about if his boss hits him, I'd hit him back.
and Rock's behind
He's
him.
just vaguely at EVPs.
I like the way they're going, and that's to me the whole point of WWE. I want long term booking. I want from nearly fumbling this twice, they've managed to save it, and I think it could be excellent. So full steam ahead, in my opinion, to WrestleMania. Obviously, this time next week we'll be doing our Elimination Chamber predictions, so we might have more. We'll probably obviously have more because Rock and Roll will have done something. So that I'm really excited for Elimination Chamber, and therefore with a bit, we're going to talk about TNA for a change in the podcast, and a big bit of news there. Obviously, you might have seen last week Scott D'Amore was, I think he was fired
I
from
was fired,
TNA.
sacked.
Just tonight, as we're recording this on Thursday night, several TNA talent have sent a letter to Anthem to express their frustration with Scott D'Amore's firing. It reads, I'm just going to quote it here. We are deeply saddened by the decision to remove Scott D'Amore from the TNA Impact family. It is our desire to have a dialogue with you and with the company in an effort to protect the future and present product of TNA for Anthem, for the fans, and for professional wrestlers. I mean, you got the vibe with Scott D'Amore that he was very involved. He was obviously involved, but he was very much the face of the new venture of TNA. And they've got some decent guys in, and then almost immediately within 2 months, they fired them, seem to be going in a different direction, and now the wrestlers are against Anthem for it. So I mean, when TNA kind of seem to have their act together, they just one wee thing can just completely take it down a step.
Sounds like TNA before.
It does, yeah. And the stuff they needed to get away from.
Yeah, it sounded like TNA when, like, say this isn't, it might be the same scale, but at the moment it doesn't seem it. When, oh, let's bring Hogan in, let's go up against Raw. Yeah, that went well. Because they were doing good stuff. Like, still got the best women's division in North America by a decent bit.
Yeah.
Although both AEW and WWE, I think we'll get into AEW's women in a bit.
Yeah.
But both of them are improving drastically at the moment. But yeah, I was baffled when I read it. When I first read it, I thought something else must have happened. But seems nothing happened. Like nothing big anyway.
It's random.
So
it's random that it's just. I think Scott D'Amore is probably TNA have picked up in the past few months and did a really good. Like, do you know what I mean? They brought in the likes of Dolph Ziggler. I mean, there's a few really good. Do you know what I mean? They've done well in the past couple of months to really shape up. Apparently, that they were in the talks for Okada. Do you know what I mean? Okada was keen, I think, to go there, but I think the money was. I don't think the money worked or something. I read. So, do you know what I mean? There's clearly something there, and Scott D'Amore is probably as good as anyone at with that kind of TNA name. The fact that the wrestlers have come out and said, we don't like this, we want him back, kind of tells you everything that they feel that this is wrong. And when the wrestlers aren't on the side of management, it doesn't end well.
No, when it's all the wrestlers as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, there might have been a couple that didn't like him, but when it's the vast majority of them aren't with the company and completely against a firing, that's not good for morale. Do you think he goes back?
Yeah, I think he does. I saw. Did you watch Jeff Jarrett's podcast? One of
No, but I think I've seen
70.
the clip. Aye.
He said something about the guy that's been replaced him. And I don't know the guy's name. Anthony Sissone, I think. Says he's not a wrestling. Says he's not a wrestling guy, and that is an enormous component of who's steering the ship creatively. Scott D'Amore's a wrestling guy. He's an ex-wrestler. He's been at TNA. I remember him in TNA's Team Canada, and that was 2005. So he's probably as involved in TNA long term as anybody. So I think this says a lot. I think he will go back. I think we will see. I think the wrestlers will probably revolt if he doesn't, and I think the fact that they've just put out a statement says everything.
Did you hear the story he wanted to buy TNA?
Yeah, I think did they have a consortium?
That it came out like he kind of thought writing was on the wall maybe a month ago, and he said, "I'll buy you out." And apparently it was a serious offer, like had a financial backer and everything.
Yeah.
And they were considering it. But obviously that didn't happen. But I think he goes back. And if he doesn't go back, that's some pickup for the WWE or AEW.
Well, the three of the wrestlers who have spoke out in favour of Scott D'Amore are Moose, Josh Alexander, and Jordan Grace. And in terms of who's in the TNA roster at the moment, those are probably the three big names that are
you think so?
Going to bat. So, and then he said it's believed by many that D'Amore is the reason for TNA's recent return in popularity among wrestling fans. I mean, it's not. I don't think. I think it's a baffling decision, and I would be very, very surprised if he's not brought back into the fold quickly, because I think it can be the sort of thing that TNA, who were beginning to get hot, and I haven't watched TNA for 10 years, maybe since. I think maybe AJ left him. Was that 2013?
I watched some of the pandemic stuff because of nothing else to do during the pandemic.
I think maybe an exaggeration. I maybe watched some of the Hardy stuff actually.
Like when when Omega and they just started the AEW stuff, I watched it after that.
Yeah.
But then I kind of just petered out I petered out when sort of the AEW thing petered out.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And they're not going to be anywhere near AEW or WWE. They're not. They're taking their ship of that sail, but they can be a good. Do you know what I mean? They can be a good indie product. They can be decent.
It could be a good third.
Yeah,
There's
of
nothing
course they
wrong being
can.
a good third.
No, of course they can, and it's a good place for guys to go, but they need the right guys in there. That's the thing I think with a lot of indie promotions. You can have the best in-ring product in the world. If you don't have the right bookers or the right creative guys behind the scenes, it's going to just be doomed.
Yeah.
So I think there will be. I think I'll be surprised if there's not a bit of change in this by next week. But in terms of free agency, I think AEW could be winning the race so far. They have what looks to be a couple of signings lined up. There is going to be a big event in Boston in March. I thought, what was it going to be? It was originally going to be called The Statement,
Yeah.
I believe, but they
I think
changed
that
it.
was. I think the statement thing was a Twitter graphic you get trolled by.
It
I
was
don't think
going to
that was
be,
ever. I don't think that was ever official. I think some guy on
wasn't it?
Twitter was very good at Photoshop.
It was really good Photoshop, to be fair, but it's going to be called Big Business, and it's going to be on the 13th of March, and it is expected to be the place where a certain Mercedes Monet, formerly known as Sasha Banks, will debut, and she is going to be, I hope, the shot in the arm that the EW Women's Division needs. If Tony Khan fumbles this, he should be sacked. He should be removed from it. This is the perfect opportunity to save that women's division, because I'll let you have your say, but I watched AEW last week. I watched all three shows, and I could not follow what the stories were for all the women. Didn't get it. And
No, I get what you mean, but I do think it's gotten better, especially since the turn of the year. I think I think they're pushing a lot of women. I
yeah,
think Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, people like that. I'll say Tony Storm being the champ, brought in Diana Perrazzo as well. It's a great signing. Obviously, Mercedes coming. I think he started this year. Apparently, Mercedes been on the contract since January.
yeah, I think I've seen
So I
that.
don't think there was ever an actual match prediction. The
I
Rumble
think
was a bad one.
I don't think she's getting shown at all in if she's not gave the word that I'm leaning towards this.
Although from what this is based on reports, apparently what the script was is she would when she was shown it all in, that was basically they all thought this is a given, this is happening, and then Tony didn't offer what she wanted, so then she gave WWE a call, and Triple H went, I'll speak to you, but they didn't offer what she wanted either, and that's how then she went back to AEW, and AEW gave her what she wanted.
Is she? See, in terms of right, this is where I'm at with Mercedes Monet, right? See if you're building. See if we had a blank checkbook and we said, right, I want you to bring in the best women's wrestler on the planet. Is she top of the list?
I think she's the best. Her and Becky, the top two for me.
I would say Becky and Charlotte before her.
I think Mercedes is a better all rounder than Charlotte
Yeah, I
in
think
terms of
Charlotte.
wrestling, promos, aura, all that kind of thing. I thought I'd put Mercedes above Charlotte. I think Charlotte might be a better in ring rest, like bell to bell, better. Maybe. I think it's pretty close. But like Mercedes, a much better promo. I think she's got a much better like presence about. Plus, she's been in Star Wars. Like
Yeah,
she's gonna have eyeballs that Charlotte doesn't have. Charlotte's got her last name. That's about it. In terms
yeah,
of like people outside of wrestling,
yeah.
when I come in and watch Charlotte's got flair. If you go, oh, Ric Flair, I know him. Oh, that's his daughter. So watch that. Mercedes get, oh, I watched Star Wars. She was in that. She was pretty good in that. Let's stick it on. I thought
Yeah.
I'd put, and then you Becky. I think Becky and Mercedes are very close in terms of your top two.
Yeah. I'm kind of intrigued as to what they do with her to start, because obviously I think she's been injured. When was the last time she worked? It must have been a while ago. I would say
June,
June,
July, I
yeah.
think.
So
Because she was showing it all in with the boot enough, ankle and a boot, I think.
yeah, I remember her getting. She got a bad injury in Japan, but I can't remember when that was. Was it? Was that Willow Nightingale? Was that match? If
Yeah,
I remember, when was it? It was
yeah.
maybe
Because
June.
that
Yeah.
match was for the New Japan Women's title, I think. New
Mhm.
Japan Strong Women's title. The belt was essentially made for Mercedes. So, and then she got injured. And that's why
So
Willow won it.
do you think it is though as well the Japan thing? Because she said that when she left WWE, she was like, "I want to work in Japan." She could do that in AEW. Do you know what I mean? She's got that. I think. Do you have her win the belt instantly?
Yes. Yes.
I
I'd have her
think
win the belt instantly.
I would
I
win.
know
I
you.
would have her win the belt that first night.
I know you prefer Tony Storm character to me, but I wouldn't. I'm not. I'm not into it. I don't get it.
The one,
Don't find it funny.
the thing this week. No, it was piss poor, to be honest. The thing
It's-
with the what's it
I
called?
know.
The film thing. It's too. I can see it becoming very boring very quickly.
Yeah, and I think you prefer. I think I was never a fan of it for the
I
start.
liked it to start with, but see now I'm kind of like, what are they actually doing with it? Because it's all due respect to Deonna Purrazzo, but it's not really working for me. And do you know what I
No.
mean? Like they've got they Saraya, they brought Saraya in, who I thought, right, Saraya could be the shot in the arm they need. She's now in a program with.
I never thought she was going to be that.
I thought she would just. I thought she
I
would
was never
bring.
a Paige fan.
I thought she would do enough to kind of bring it, and she did. To be fair, obviously she did at the start, but now she's kind of been wasted. Do you know what I mean? She's working a program with Ruby Soho about a photo, a kiss or something. Like, what's that? That's Vince Russo booking. That's rubbish.
That's
And
Vince McMahon booking.
it is, and like I'm not. I like the stuff they're doing with Julia Hart. I said that from the beginning. I really like the stuff they're doing with her,
I like Julia Hart and she's really good.
but it's not working. I just think the women's division, there's too much going on, and I'm not sure where it all fits. Like Statlander and Willow Nightingale, like a week before they're having Stokely Hathaway against the wall, then the next week they're hugging him in the ring, and there's no real kind of explanation as to why. Why is Saraya and Ruby going to be fighting? Why is this new? That Harley Cameron involved? It just doesn't. It just there's a lot of spinning plates, and I think somebody like Mercedes can come in and really she can be the real person to go in there and go, right, this is where we need to. We're building this round her. Everybody else, how do they fit around this and make a good women's division? Because AEW needs that.
See, if women's feuds are so easy to book, all you need to do is book it like it's a guy feud and change names. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
See, if I ask Tony, Tony, write Hangman Swerve, for example. Write out your Hangman Swerve story. He'll write it down. Right now, change the two names. The two women. That's all you need to do. It's not as hard as you think. Like feuding over a kiss, and that's Vince McMahon. That's divas almost.
It is. As you look, I'm just going through the list now, right? Guess how many women's wrestlers are signed to AEW?
Oh, I know. It's like 30 something, 40 something. I think
42. Right. I don't care if you've 3 shows or not. You don't 4 shows technically, because I'm probably including Ring of Honor on this year, because there's like Athena in there, and
like Athena's great. Use Athena more.
yeah, but
I wasn't the biggest Ember Moon fan.
I thought she was just terrible.
And you get Athena. Athena's been great.
Yeah.
Like I don't watch Ring of Honor weekly because I don't have the time. But I watched. They put a big half-hour, sort of 40-minute long video about her feud.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Oh, it was
Billy Starks.
Tina Hogan, wasn't it? Billy Starks. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I put a big feud with Billy Stark. Put big video with Billy Starks on. It was great. And now, you've got Britt Baker there. Britt Baker's great.
Yeah, I haven't. Where is Britt Baker?
That's a great question.
Tony Khan, where is she? Come on, answer the question.
She moaned on Twitter. She moaned on Twitter that she's not a promo on Dynamite all year.
Quite rightly though, because to me she was the real star of the. Do you know what I mean? She was the first one in.
I think she's the best woman she's got.
Yeah, I still think she was the first contracted female, wasn't she? Yeah. Where is she? She won she won the Owen Hart Cup. That should be
and Adam Cole won the cup.
Enough. Do you know what I mean? That should be. I haven't seen her. Jamie Hayter still. I'm quite like Jamie Hayter coming back. I'm quite intrigued with that.
That's what I was going to say. I'd have Mercedes win the belt and drop it Hayter at Wembley.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. I'm
and
not
then have your
overly
matches
sold.
with your Britt Bakers, your Athenas, your Willows, that kind of thing. Get a belt feud with Willow right there.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Tony Storm gimmick at the start's fine. I mean, it was some of it was entertaining, but now like I watched that thing today, the thing she did, and I think Mariah May, I think is quite good. I've said that for a while though. I've quite liked her. I think
Aye,
there's so
sort of the
many.
understudy type thing is quite good.
Yeah, I like that. But Diona Perazzo, I think is quite good. I think there's so much can be done. I think Mercedes could be the shot in the arm it needs. It looks like Kashuka Okada is going there. We obviously watched New Japan where he had a phenomenal match with Tanahashi, and that was his goodbye. He looks to be heading to AEW. Happy?
I'm happy for him because I'm guessing he just took the contract with the most heroes, which I don't blame him for doing. But I would have preferred to see him in WWE because I think WWE need him more. Because when you look at the main event, obviously you've got, especially the main event seen on SmackDown, you've got Roman who's never there, Rock who's probably not going to be there much after Mania. Then below it, you got Orton, AJ, LA Knight. That could have used an Okada, let's be honest. Because if you look at the Rumble, I think we said 14 onwards was Raw in NXT.
Yeah.
So I would have preferred to see him in WWE, but like, let's be honest, he's gonna have some phenomenal matches in AEW. Like Omega Okada at Wembley writes itself. If Omega is obviously fit, but if he's fit for Wembley, that main event writes itself. That could all like I think Meltzer might die if that happens at Wembley.
No, it's
He
a
might
seven.
explode.
It's a 7-star, isn't it?
Nah. You know in Sonic when someone dies, you just bust into rings.
Yeah.
I think Meltzer would just bust into stars if that happened.
Do you know what match I don't want to see straight away, and I kind of feel this is where they're going to go? It did. Okada worked Jericho at Dominion. I think it was 2019. It was when Jericho was before AEW, and
Yeah.
I think Meltzer gave it 6 stars, and I remember watching it thinking this wasn't good at all. I worry that because have you noticed that Jericho seems to be working with everybody that comes in? Like he's working with,
Yeah.
like he worked Osprey at All In. I mean, what's he doing now? I just have a fear that the first thing's going to be Jericho. There's so much you can do with Okada and AEW.
Jericho isn't. As soon as you said Jericho, I was like, oh no, it's not what they.
That's
But
what they'll do. They'll do something like
to
that to
be
start
fair,
with.
when Danielson first came in, his first match with Omega, which is what we wanted.
Mhm.
I don't know if he does his first match as Danielson too.
Love that. Would
See
love
that
that.
match at Forbidden Door, which was phenomenal, which was great. Probably not as good as I thought it'd be.
No.
It was still phenomenal, but
I think it's quite difficult though. I think this is the problem we've got with the likes of the kind of way we've looked at matches in the past kind of 5 years because of how high a certain crowd have been implementing them. We expect them to be 7-star matches.
yeah,
Where when you're thinking like that, you're always going to be let down. Like
I think the Forbidden Door match was kind of done because of the one that was just before it.
yeah,
Because just before it was Osprey Omega,
yeah.
which was my match of the year.
Was that last year? Or was that it?
That was last year. That was
That was last.
2023.
Yeah.
That was my 2023 match of the year. Because Danielson came out with
When did they do Zabel Jr. and Danielson?
that was Wrestle Dream.
That was Wrestle Dream. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up. But
I think that's like the third time you've done that as well.
it's bad, isn't it? It's bad. But it's so many different like New Japan stuff. Listen, I'm a big fan of New Japan. I watched the New Japan show last week and a lot of it I quite liked. Thought the end match was bish. And I know you're going.
The War Games match. I love the
I
War
thought it
Games
was
match.
I thought it was mayhem. It reminded me of a Nick Gage GCW match. It was just too much. Like
I think WWE well obviously WWE have got the War Games, AEW have got the Blood and Guts. I think both will take something special to beat that.
think.
Because both of them have kind of struggled with the War Games match. After last year, you had the Bloodline. Well, 2022, you had the Bloodline stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which was the match itself was good. The last 5 minutes was sensational. The last 5-10 minutes was sensational. But before that was okay to good. The one this year, the women's was fine. thought the women's was good actually. I thought the men's was pretty okay and good. But yeah, that was in Blood and Guts. I think Blood and Guts isn't as good as War Games. I think AEW is still trying to master the formula, but I think they'll both will take something special to beat that. War Games in New Japan.
Right, so we've got, obviously, we're expecting Okada, we're expecting Mercedes and Ospreay's coming as well. AEW are winning the free agent battle.
Yeah, aye. Who was the last free agent that WWE beat AEW to? I can't think of one.
No, probably.
The last big free agent that W from like obviously you get Punk, but before that, obviously the group of Triple H re-signees, none of them stood out as that was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Gargano is the main one he took from AEW. 'Cause when you think about it, the rest were all kind of just bunch of mid. Obviously Bray as well, but Bray was never fitting in AEW really.
No.
Before that, the big signing was probably AJ.
Was
2016.
there
That's
not a lot
8
of, was
years
there
ago.
not a lot of talk? Was there not a lot of kind of high profile with them signing Dragon Lee? Was that not like, because they made a big deal out of bringing him in?
Yeah, maybe.
But
Because he was on Dynamite he managed on Dynamite as well.
I do think it's tough though, because I think AEW, if you're sitting at a table, I mean, see, like, even, I mean, I text you the other day about FTR. FTR were hell bent on re-signing with WWE apparently until they heard
And events.
Vince was back. See if FTR were up now, they're 100% re-signing with WWE, and it's not even a debate. But because of the Vince thing, I think a lot of people have still got worries that Vince is there.
Don't blame them.
I think Drew will re-sign with WWE. I think I've never been more confident than now that Drew's re-signing.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Meltzer quote today.
No.
He basically said that they're acting on the creative is they're writing creative until even after his contract expires.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basing this on the premises he's gonna he's not resigned yet, but they're basing it on the premises he will. But I said about Vince, until Vince sells his last share, no one's going to say anything. No one. I think people are always going to have that back in mind. What happens if he comes back?
The Vince stuff is kind of taken another turn, hasn't it? The Ashley Mazzaro stuff is horrendous. Like,
It's bad.
really bad. Now, the John Laurinaitis thing coming out and saying, I'm a victim too.
What is it? Read the room, Johnny. Just shut up.
I thought
Oh, you need to shut up.
why did the Bella twins release a statement? Just shut up. Just
Yeah, just
say
see
nothing.
when you. I honestly forgot he was there. His stepdad, Daniel, father-in-law, stepdad,
Father-in-law, stepdad.
stepdad.
He's Daniel Bryan's father-in-law. Think about that for a minute. Like,
Poor bloke. Poor Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson.
do you think this is the sort of, like, there was obviously talk a couple of weeks ago that Endeavour want to kind of clear out every one of Vince's guys, and I think we know who was kind of top of that list. Do you think this is going to get worse? I think it's reached the apex now, because I'm kind of thinking right now this is as bad as it gets, but there's also part of me thinking I think there's way more to come here. Brock's done. Brock's never ever working WWE again. Can't.
I think I read something. I don't know how official this is, but I read somewhere Road Dogg said something like that. You heard Road Dogg said something like that maybe in one of his pods that Brock won't be back, and he shouldn't. Be honest.
The shit too.
If anything, if that is remotely true about Brock, he shouldn't be back. Like for the way even if see if I love the product at the moment. We just talk about how good the product is. But see if Triple H knew about this, I'd have him gone as well. I think.
It's
I
tough
think
though, because
morality needs to take. I think when it comes to these kind of things, morality needs to take centre stage over how good the product is. Nick Khan knew about it. He can go as well.
I think the fact that Nick Khan, Triple H, and Stephanie all voted against bringing him back, I think is enough for them to kind of survive it, because Vince clearly worked his way back in to go
Because
over
he
their
got rid
heads.
of all the people that voted against him and voted in all people who could.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember this, but this was before COVID. Do you remember when he brought in Heyman and Bischoff to be the executive directors?
Yeah.
And everybody thought that was a thing that it was to stop them going to AEW. What happened a couple of months after that? Who were the two guys that he brought back?
Oh, can't remember.
He
This
brought
is
back
COVID's up.
John Laurinaitis to be the
Oh yeah,
executive
yeah, I
talent
remember that,
relations.
the woman.
What, like 7 years after they fired him publicly, and then brought back Bruce Pritchard, who was so far out of the picture. They just brought him back randomly.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
Bischoff,
Bruce Pritchard's anything to do with it, but I thought at that point I thought at that point I didn't think it'd be anywhere near what it was. I says he's preparing for he's
something.
kicking everyone out. This is his, whether it's a sale or not. I didn't think he would ever sell. To be fair, he doesn't trust, because he obviously destroyed do you mean he destroyed Black and Gold NXT, kicked Triple H out. We all thought that was because of the losing to Dynamite. I don't think that was it. I think he's always had it in his head, I don't want them to take over for me. They're not. Do you know what I mean? It's always been his way or no way. And I think bringing back John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard and guys like that, who, I mean, John Laurinaitis was horrendous at his job. Let's be honest. I mean, the whole period of the kind of period where we get fed up with wrestling was because of some of the things he was doing. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if you remember the woman, was it Queen's Crown they called it? Not, they should have called it Queen of the Ring, but didn't they? Called it Queen's Crown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the entire match length of the full tournament was something like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you added up all the match times of all the women, of all the match in Queen's Crown, something like 15, 20 minutes. And a lot of the women put that down to the fact John Laurinaitis was back, because they didn't like how he treated the women, which, as we've seen in the last couple of years, I think we know why they thought that.
I mean, I think my worry with this is that it's going to soil the name of wrestling probably worse than Benoit. And the reason I think that is because I think there's, like, Benoit, this is going to sound horrible what I'm going to say here, but Benoit's stuff kind of died with him. Do you know what I mean? Like, that stuff could go on. We could hear stuff like this for years. I mean, this, if one part it was the same, and I'm comparing it to what I'm going to compare it to, when the thing of obviously with Jimmy Savile, that just kept getting worse and worse when more people come forward.
More people. Yeah.
That's what I think could happen here.
Yeah, there's definitely more. Like, that's why. What's the woman's name? Can't remember.
Ashley Mazzaro.
No, the lawsuit.
Janelle Grant.
Janelle Grant. Aye. When Janelle Grant came out, her lawyer went on one of the American news shows and basically said, "We are doing this because we know more women will now speak out about it." And I think we're talking tens of women that's going to come out with this.
I think it could get even worse than what I mean, it's bad anyway, but it could get worse. But we'll close the show on a brighter note, Scott. We are at the kind of WrestleMania season, and that means that it is kind of Hall of Fame season as well. So we thought for the end of the show, we would do a wee prediction of who we think could be inductees into the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame. Now, I've got three male individuals, a female wrestler. I've got a tag team and a celebrity written down, but I think they're more kind of pie in the sky stuff. You've got the same.
I've got the same, yeah.
Right. Will we just do one each? Like, just go one, and then if we agree, we'll talk about it? Right, you go first.
Well, my first one's a sad one. I've gone Bray Wyatt.
I think Bray Wyatt. Yeah.
I can't remember, like... I can't remember being hit by a wrestler's death as much as Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Brody Lee, I can't, like... See, I wasn't watching when the Benoit died. I wasn't watching when Eddie died. I can't remember being hit by a wrestler's death as much as Bray Wyatt. Like, I remember how I woke up and turned on telly and see what was going on because I was like first thing in the morning, turned on YouTube, see what happened, and I saw a YouTube title from Wrestle Talk, R.I.P. Bray Wyatt, and I literally shouted 4 in the morning, "What?" And I woke my dad up, which he wasn't happy with, but so yeah, I was I, I was baffled when I saw it, and I still am. It's still weird not having. Obviously, he was away because he got released, but then he came back, and I was really intrigued. I think a lot of folk kind of soured on his stuff, but I was still really intrigued on where it was going.
I
And I
really
think there
liked
was a
when he
lot
came
more
back. See,
still
when he
to pick
came
up on.
back and he was doing the new music and he was doing the different stuff, like the Uncle Howdy stuff. I thought I didn't know what it was going to, but I thought it was good to see him. And just
Yeah,
I was kind of waiting. I thought, and you're going to say this might have been mad. I thought he was when he came back, he would do something with Cody. Like I was waiting.
there's
Like,
stuff there for him. Aye,
yeah,
there was
and it's so
there's
bad.
hundreds of potential for him to do. Like you had this sort of Jekyll and Hyde type character that he was going for,
Mhm.
and then when he beat LA Knight at the Rumble, he kind of face paint kind of turned into the Fiend almost.
Mhm.
Then he had the puppets come to life. There was a lot there that we didn't, and we will never find out what it all meant because Uncle Howdy was Bo Dallas, and I'm pretty sure he's still employed. Can't imagine him getting rid of him.
No,
And he's still there, and I can't see him doing anything with him.
no.
Maybe you stick. Maybe you just go Bo Dallas, go Bo Lee, and stick him in NXT. That's probably better, unless obviously it's what he wants to do. Really, it's up to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. No, I think he will be one that goes in. Interesting thing I was going to ask you, do you think they maybe put the Wyatt family in, him and Brody? Or maybe put them both in?
I had that. That was kind of long listed for me, but I think you put Bray in himself this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair enough. And I think he will be the one that I think everybody will be quite happy to see. Right. My one is someone who I think we're going to the home of ECW. Let's get the godfather of ECW in. The wise man deserves his time. This is the perfect place to do it. Let's get Paul Heyman in the Hall of Fame. I think this is you could argue maybe New York's a good place as well, but he absolutely deserves to be in every Hall of
Oh,
Fame.
aye.
And he's actually, you could argue, probably the best he's ever been is probably the past couple of years.
He's a genius. He's a
Like,
genius. Like
he's,
that's the best way I can put him.
is he in yours?
Either no, because I knew he was in yours, so that's what I
Okay.
put him down.
Yeah. Nah, I've been to see a Paul Heyman live show, right? And let me tell you, it's not just a television thing. He is
Aye.
unbelievable. He's mesmerising. Like,
He's got. Aye.
he tells a brilliant story about when the streak ended, right? And he's trying to kind of play you like he doesn't know, you don't know if the streak was meant to end or not.
Aye,
And he
I've
just
seen that video.
plays it. It's so good. And you're kind of left thinking, has he just told us something that we shouldn't know?
Aye.
But I think it's the best place for him. I've got another ECW guy in there. Well, maybe ECW, but I think another kind of ECW figure. But I think it's the perfect place to do it. Look, if it's Philly, he's going to be involved in a main event story. Do you know what I mean? He's probably, I would say, I know he's not a manager, right? But in terms of what he's done for the wrestling business, he's been a phenomenal manager, phenomenal comment stuff with JR at WrestleMania 17. Like that kind of whole
Aye.
era is unbelievable. Creative the SmackDown 6, the first real era I remember is the SmackDown kind of ruthless aggression era. He was
Aye.
he was the reason for that. Does the obviously comes back with Brock, does the stuff with Punk's very underrated. See the kind of
Aye.
6-8 months that he did there.
I was
Whereas
watching that.
Punk didn't need Punk did need somebody to speak for him, but they were just so good together.
Aye.
And
I was watching that clip. Don't know if you remember it when they first got. Is it basically how they announced they got together? Punk threw Cena into a car
yeah,
and got in that car and they just drove by and you just see Heyman's head stick out the window
yeah,
and they just drive on. Stuff like that. And
yeah,
then everything Heyman's done, he's smashed at the park.
yeah,
Like the SmackDown 6, like basically, don't know if you heard the story about that all came about.
yeah,
Basically Vince saw Raw as his main baby almost. He thought, right, this is where the stars are going to go. And Payman went, give me these 6 guys
mhm,
and I'll work wonders. And he did.
yeah.
Don't know if you
It's,
remember, you kind of mentioned it there when he came back, when Vince brought him and Bischoff in, he kind of started something similar.
Do you remember he was
Yeah,
very involved with
Andrade.
Aleister Black?
Andrade, Aleister Black, Humberto, Angel Garza, guys like that. I think Apollo Crews. He put the US title on Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
Guys like that. He kind of just thought, right, you just have the stars. Like, no, Roman wasn't there. Roman wasn't back. Basically, no one's here. So give me these 6 undercard, mid-card guys, and I'll work wonders with them. And he did.
Yeah.
It
No,
was, I remember the first few months inside the performance center wasn't that, like, Raw especially wasn't that bad telly.
no, it wasn't.
It was. I think they were just still trying to find their feet and what is actually going on here.
Yeah.
None of us really knew. But he even thought, right, I'll give me these 6 guys, and he had great matches with them. The Randy Orton and Edge feud as well. Obviously, Edge wasn't there, but he was just kicking folk in the head every week. It was great.
Yeah. Right, who's next?
I've got someone that's kind of already in, but
Okay.
kind of not. Batista.
Right, okay.
Because he was meant to be in, but he didn't officially get inducted because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then the next year when they done the 2 halls, he wasn't part of it.
Yeah, was he not filming Guardians?
Yeah, so I'll put, and obviously it's Triple H, Triple H's pal. I think it makes sense for Batista to be in it.
Yeah. No, he's not on mine, but I think he's obviously going to go in eventually. Right, my next one is they've brought his son into WWE from AEW.
He's on
They've-
my list as well.
They've started announcing that they're going to. I think they've signed a Legends. They're allowed
Yeah,
to
it's
do
a merch deal,
merchandise.
something like that, yeah.
The loose cannon Brian Pillman. I think
Yeah, he's on my list.
I watched his Dark Side. I've been kind of watching a lot of Dark Side of Rings lately. That is the best episode that Brian Pillman
I was
won.
a
I don't know
big
if you-
fan of the Benoit one. I think the
Benoit one was good as well.
great.
The Owen Hart one is probably up there as well. But in terms of Pillman, 2 very different parts of a story. Brian Pillman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think the loose cannon character is one of the best. Like, see when you watch back old stuff, back before my time. I think he died in '96. I was born in '96. Brian Pillman stuff is up there. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And again, probably as good a place as any. I think ECW kind of transformed him as well. So I think Brian Pillman goes in. We're agreeing on
Yeah,
that.
Alexis can induct him.
Could do. Oh, I was thinking Austin.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, because Lexus will come out on it. Lexus will accept it. So
I will. Because Braun Breaker put the Steiners in as well. So I don't know if they want to do something similar with that. But
yeah, they could do. Yeah, they could do. I think Austin's the right guy to do it. Right. Who's your female inductee?
I think if say on under the same lines as Batista, it's Triple H is running it. I think that you have to put China in.
Oh, I was thinking, mate, interesting. I went for Michelle McCool. I think she should have been in a long time ago.
Aye, but so should China. Let's be honest.
China should be. Yeah,
we all know why she wasn't. But
yeah.
like,
I didn't even think of her. I didn't even.
It's a Triple H run thing. She was in DX. Triple H had shouted out before on like various DX reunion things. I think this year put her in, even though it should have been years and years ago.
Yeah, no, I think
she died 2015, 2016.
Yeah, around about that. Yeah, around about that. Yeah.
Yeah, she should have put it in then, but obviously she is still the woman. I think.
Is she not technically? Is she technically in because of the DX thing?
Aye, but I think she should be putting herself.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, I think Michelle McCool will probably be in the next few years. I would put her in. I've always been a big fan of Michelle McCool's work, and I think you could probably. It's difficult who you maybe have induct her, but yeah, no, China. I think China. This is the time to maybe do it. You know what I mean? Like this is China could be fair enough. Right, tag team. I went for one, and I think there's probably next to no chance of happening. I'm just thinking, different regime. They should have been in years ago. Get Demolition in. It's really right. It has to be, and I think the fact that they clearly had something with Vince, but I think they maybe sued Vince personally on several occasions.
They sued Vince, which is why they knew they broke the record.
Yeah, that sort of stuff is gone. Let's get probably the greatest tag team not in. And
aye, I've gone another tag team. I've gone APA.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, who I basically had a list looked up and basically people not in Hall of Fame, and they were on the list, and I had to double check it because I wasn't, because I thought surely they'd be in by now. JBL does enough stuff.
I think they're both in separately, they're not?
Yeah, but I'd still put them in as a
Yeah.
tag team. JBL does a lot of charity stuff. Come back to say damn the odd time. I think you need. I don't know why they're not in. They should be in.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely fair enough. Yeah, yeah. APA, right. Final celebrity inductee. I've struggled with this. I'm going to let you go first and see who you.
I've gone for the one who put together one of my favourite Mania matches recently, from Johnny Knoxville.
Okay.
I just think the match with Sami Zayn puts him in for me. I've never laughed watching wrestling that much in my life. I never had so much fun watching wrestling in my life. I don't know if that's your kind of match, but
I thought it was fine for what it was.
I
I thought it was
had a
fine.
lot of fun with it.
I've went for Cyndi Lauper just because it's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
That was the one I went for.
I thought she'd be in it by now.
So did I. Donald Trump's in it.
Yeah,
Like,
mental in it.
wow. And who inducted him?
Who do you think?
I would love to see if this Hall of Fame works. But yeah, we're going to have a busy episode next week. We're going to do an Elimination Chamber preview. We're going to obviously recap what The Rock and Roman said. There'll be news, I'd imagine, in between there, because it's one thing I've noticed lately, Scott, is it's very, very busy in the news world of professional wrestling. But thanks as always again, mate, and I'll see you next week.
All right, cheers for watching, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you next week.